Hi guys, welcome back to my garage. I was kind of a bit bored of welding and floor pans and sheet metal and all that kind of thing. It was kind of wearing me down a little bit. So I'm going for something slightly different. Decided I might take apart the carburettor, take a look at that, see what we've got in there. I've ordered a gasket set for it. So I think we might break this into two videos. Part one being the much easier let's take it apart video. That's always good fun. And then part two being the second part, and it being a let's put it back together video, which is no doubt going to be far more difficult and full of some swearing and throwing of things. So this one's part one. Part two you can get to via this link here. So it's probably going to be a bit of a longer video than I would normally do. I normally chop these up and cut them down for size. So this one could be a little bit longer, and the reason probably it's going to be a bit longer is because when I take this apart I need to understand how to put it back together again, so I need a reference video, so that probably is what this is going to be. So you can follow along and skip to the bits you're interested in, or skip to the next video, also an option. Well, let's have a look. So I haven't really done anything with this. It's covered in kind of a bit of spider webby goodness, and it doesn't look pretty in there. So I guess we'll pull this thing apart and see where it goes. So start by taking the flow bowl. I think this is, I do actually have a manual which I can go and get. But for the moment, I think we should be okay to just pull it apart and see how we go. It's just 4 screws. I think there's 5 screws probably that hold this thing on. They do come with a, where's the camera? There, washer as well. Okay, that's those 4 off. I think I have to take this one off too. I think I might take these gloves off. I don't know. Save one for the moment. Maybe we'll swap. Put some disposables on. They're a bit better sometimes to be able to grasp things. They are. I bought a size too small, I think, of the disposal ones, and it's a little bit. They're a bit tight. So I feel like I'm cleaning drains when I put them on. And again, I'm struggling with this, so let's change these into some orange ones. Here we go. Okay, so we'll keep going with this. That's out. It was easy. So we go, see inside. That it's a little bit skanky. All this can go in the parts washer. The float needle. I could always go and get the thing, I guess, but this mechanism doesn't. This is the throttle mechanism, and it's I think it's missing a spring. We're going to need a gasket set for this, so that's the next thing I'll be getting. It's in the post actually. It's the old gasket. There's the inside. So got the float bowl here. I think this should just lift out. It does. There you go. So that comes off. That went in there. and the float bowl and the float itself. Ooh, that check it out. I'm hoping that's going to come off in the ultrasonic cleaner. If not, I might have to get into it with the media blaster, but we'll see how we go. We'll go with the cleaner first. Okay, so this pin holds the float. Seems not okay. Where do we go next, do you think? Let's have a look at some of this. Oh, that's on there pretty tight. I'm going to need a better screwdriver than that. This isn't going to fit. Slightly thicker. Let's give that a whirl. If not, it is a hex, so I could use a ratchet on it maybe. Oh no, there you go. So that's comes out. Spring on the end. Gonna go with the other one. This one's at 45 degrees. Pretty skanky. Don't know if they say the size on them. If they do, I can't see it. What's next? So this, I think, is the cutoff, bypass cutoff valve or similar. So I think that this is definitely not needed. This is just vacuum advance. It's been plugged off actually, which is interesting. Wonder why. Don't know why. If you know why, comments below. Let's get this off. All of the screws are coming off really easily, which makes me think that someone has been in here not that long ago. Still see? That said, it could be the spiders that have been in here. So I think in here we'll find another the gasket or the spring part. I can't remember what it's called. And that usually I would expect to find that pretty perished. If it's not, then it will be interesting, but I'm going to replace it anyway. Why wouldn't I? Here we go. Check it out. Okay, so there's the spring that sat in there that way up with the tiny end at the end, tiny part at the end, sat in there. And it's not petrified, but it's seen some action. Not too bad. That inside there with the pointy end that way. That's skanky in there. It's going to need a proper washout. 4 of these little screws went in there. Okay, where next? Let's get the air cutoff off. See if I get off my hand note. I will need. Let's try 17. 17 it is. Woo-wee. So I blow this through all this. That's the air cutoff. So I guess it shoots up and down. If that's working, I'll eat my hat. But you never know. I don't think it's too expensive. That's covered in skankiness. Let's take this one out. That could come off. I think that's all that is. It's a float bowl drain. I think nothing more exciting than that. And I think that's, yep, so that's all it is, just a drain. I think this should, yeah, it does, just lifts out. It's the thing that squirts the mist into the center, so I just pop that out. And what else? This is what this looks like before I take this off. Just a note to yourself, here's how this goes on. It's a spring and it's tight with the smaller part to the bottom, and then at the top we've got like a the usual bent over pin holding that on. It's not a circlip, it's just a bent over pin. So for that I probably would be well advised to use some pliers. Let's get some of those. I'm just bending that back so that I can just slide it out. Try and grab hold. Sure if you can see or not. There we go. Here it comes. On top of that we have, so we've got this was on top, this underneath, and this one on top of this here. The more it can be disassembled. There we go, that obviously has come out. I'll give you a good look inside there. You can see that's if that's going to come off just by parts washing, I'll be amazed. But you never know. And that's, I don't think we're going to take that off. We're just going to leave that as it is. Removed all the other bolts, screws, washers, jets, whatever. And I reckon that bad boy is ready for the washer. Okay, so forgot to do this bit. Again, to take that out. I think that's a so that's a 13. So I need a 14, which is that one. I don't know whose this spanner is, but I don't recognise it. So if it's yours and you want it back, let me know. She's out. There's a gasket on that too. little gasket. Oh, it's a washer rather than a gasket actually. So yep, that's all good. Put that in the pot. There's definitely there's little rubber gaskets between these. There's one just fell out. Oops. Danger of losing these. So make sure that we don't. They go in between the thing, as you can see. In between there. One more. That's that. There we go. That's that. And this, I'm not sure. This is loose. That doesn't seem good to me. I think that should be loose. Again, curious to know in the comments if you have a different opinion. This should pop off here. There we go. So I think this is the choke. I think this heats up, something happens maybe, or the element increases in size and does something here. Yeah, to change the position of the choke butterfly. So there's this, which obviously that little end there hooks onto there, and as this opens this up, it's very clever, really clever design. Gotta admit, super smart. Okay, great. Okay, so I think we should. I'm not sure we take that off or not. I'm going to say no for the moment. We'll leave that. We'll leave that as it is. We're not going to put that in the bath yet. We'll need to understand a bit more about it. There's an electrical element to it, so I don't want to stick it in water. We'll put some cleaner in it, and then we'll put the carb in it. Set to 50 degrees. Leave it to cook for a bit, and then come back and dump this thing in it. Do not use this unit when the tank is not to fill the water. Is not. Do you think is not full of water? Like when there's no water in it, don't use the tank. That would be a good tip. All right, let's go with that. Right, we're at 39 degrees now. It's nearly 40. I'm gonna give this a whirl, so I'll stick both bits in here, and then we're gonna stick it in here. We'll leave it, I think, for half an hour initially, but I suspect it will need longer. "30 minutes. Is that enough?" That's all I can do. It's the maximum, so we'll do that. Okay. And off it goes. It makes that horrid noise. Thanks for watching this part of the video. Part 2 will be where we put it all back together again, and that's going to be much more interesting because I've got absolutely no idea really where all these bits go. So join me for that in part 2. If you like this video, give me a like and hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one.